Hello, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you sort of live, not really, from Fenway Park here in Boston. Wyatt, how are you doing? This is the rundown. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, this is the rundown. This is the rundown. No, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm okay. We took a week off last week.
We did.
Because we wanted to watch some opening week action, and we're going to talk about that action, of course, tonight here.
A lot of fun action.
On the rundown.
What's
the Yogi Berra quote of the week?
Yes, the Yogi Berra quote of the week. This week, a lot by watching. And last week, that is precisely what we did. We've observed a lot just by watching.
I didn't absorb, but no.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about for opening week, so let's delve right in. Our first topic, your biggest surprise from week one.
Okay, my biggest surprise is the Los Angeles Angels for multiple reasons. First, number one reason is that the Angels were supposed to be, still the first week.
Yeah, let's just put that out there.
The Angels are supposed to be god-awful.
True.
Like the worst team in the league, god-awful. Like worse than the Braves, god-awful.
I wouldn't say worse than
worse than the Braves.
I don't know. I think that's a little much.
No.
I mean,
they have Mike Trout.
This is the same league that has the Braves, the Phillies, and the Reds.
Well, they have Mike Trout, and that's about all they have going for them.
But yeah,
this opening week, their bats have come alive. Mike Trout's being Mike Trout, hitting a home run on openers. Let's see, you got Andrelton Simmons. His bat's getting a little bit better now, which still sad to see him away. And right now is their pitching, though. Their pitching is abysmal.
That's going to hurt them later in the season.
I'm giving the Angels the nickname of the comeback kids right now because they've come back down by like 4 against the Mariners.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
They came back against the Rangers the other night.
They had
down by like 3.
That walk-off suicide squeeze.
Yeah, walk-off suicide squeeze.
That was amazing.
So the Angels are obviously my biggest surprise, mostly because they've just been they've been winning very unlikely games.
Let me tell you, I don't disagree. That's a big surprise. Bigger surprise.
Really?
Yes, because the Reds are 7-2, and the Reds were supposed to be worse.
I don't see that.
The
Angels have the worst farm system in the entire league.
But the Reds are one of the youngest teams, and young and the moment is bad. Mm-hmm. But somehow this team is 7-2. We're relying on a lot of rookies / players with less than 5 years of experience.
Younger players.
A lot of very young and experienced players, and that's a bad combination. But yet they're 7-2. They've managed to beat the Cardinals twice. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals, and they swept the Pirates. They've won all 3 of their series thus far. Expect this. Nobody expected this. This is incredible. This is a team that's supposed to be getting their butts handed to them on silver games, and their bats have come alive. I mean, Adam Duvall is hitting the ball incredibly well. He's following up his All-Star season. Eugenio Suarez at third base has come alive.
Wow, that's a difficult name to say.
Yeah, it looks like Eugenio, but it's Eugenio.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
And then rookie starter Amir Garrett in his first 2 starts has been lights out. I mean, he's showing a lot of promise. I know it's only been 2 games, but in his first 2 games, he's been lights out. His first game, he shut down the Cardinals. I mean, that's enough right there.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the Reds are my biggest surprise. This is the team that was the 3rd worst in the league last year. So, I'm going to go with them as my big surprise. But to be fair, let's just go ahead and put it out again. It's only been a week, so there's still...
It's only been a week.
There's still 100 games left for them to screw it up.
A solid crash and burn.
Let's slow our rolls a little bit, but...
Hey, did you know they hit 2 home runs?
That was incredible. For a short period of time, Madison freaking Bumgarner led the league in home runs. Let that sink in.
Did you know that Madison Bumgarner also pitched an incredible game?
He did.
Did you know that we're going to talk about this right now?
I did.
Is it a big deal?
I think it's kind of a big deal, yeah. Because think about it. Stereotypically, pitchers are supposed to be god-awful at hitting.
Yes.
They're not. That's why they bat ninth.
Well, I wouldn't say they're god-awful because usually pitchers in high school and college, they still know how to hit.
Yeah, but
it's just the fact that they don't practice hitting every day.
Because by the time you get to the major leagues, you're focusing 99% of your time on your pitching because that's your job. When you're hitting, that's what you do is you practice your bunting. If you're in the American League, you don't ever see the batter's box hardly unless it's interleague play. So the only time pitchers really bat so they don't hit much, and when they do hit, they're bad at it. And here we have Madison Bumgarner, a guy who's not only one of the best pitchers in the league, but has somehow become a really good hitter. Honestly,
I don't think there's a somehow to this. I think Madison Bumgarner is just a good hitter in general.
Well, yeah, he is a good hitter.
He's always been a good hitter.
I think it's a big deal because it's really surprising because, for one thing, you don't think of pitchers as good hitters in general. And yet, he's the best hitting pitcher in the league. And
I don't know. Zach Greinke's got something to say about that. Pitchers who rake.
Pitchers who rake. Hashtag pitchers who rake. Don't forget Jake Arrieta.
Oh, Arrieta.
Arrieta's got a little bit of pop.
Just, you know.
But not only is Madison Bumgarner a good hitter, he's got some power. He's not just hitting the ball, he's hitting the ball far.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. And so that's why I say it's kind of a big deal because you don't see that kind of stuff from pitchers.
I think it's a big deal just because he's also a good pitcher. A middle of the road pitcher, you'll be like, okay, cool, he needs to switch positions then. But Madison Bumgarner's a great pitcher, and he's still doing this. I feel like he got bored of pitching, and he just started practicing hitting now.
Like, I'm already one of the best pitchers in the league. Let me grab the bat.
He's got a Babe Ruth thing going on. He's just like, I'm good enough at pitching. Let's try to do the other thing now.
In 7 years, his arm starts to falter, and he's just like, all right, I'm going to first base. Let's go.
I mean, I can see it happening. I also think this is a big deal because I do not like the DH rule. So
I like it the way it is.
Madison
I like it the way it is. The DH in the American League, no DH in the National
Yeah,
League.
but there have been rumors that they're going to try to put the DH would be really dumb.
I like how there's that difference.
Yeah, one of the best things about baseball is the uniqueness, and no other league will you have two separate within your league have different rules.
Right.
There's no other league where that is a thing.
Because baseball was the first sport I got into as a kid. And then when I learned, then it was football, and then I learned that there was the NFC conference and the AFC conference. And one of the first questions I asked my dad after learning about that, I was like, what's the different rule for each?
Yeah.
Because I knew of the DH thing.
I wish they had different rules.
I mean, it would be interesting, and that's why I like the different rule with the DH.
We need to bring back the AFL, the American Football League.
Yes.
But we're not talking about football.
Let's bring back the ABA as well. I love that red, white, and blue ball.
But yeah, it's a big deal. I feel like just hitting. You got to hit dingers because from a good old back in the day, chicks dig the long ball.
That is true. That is true. I also say though, I'm not surprised that it was Bumgarner that did this. It would be Madison.
I was actually watching this game just because it was opening day.
Well, I heard I turned it on because I heard he had like a perfect game or no hitter going through like 5 or so innings.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, opening day no. I want to watch that. I turned it on and then it got broken up, but then all of a sudden he hit a second home run and I was like, what?
I was actually watching it and I walked away. He had like a perfect inning, hit a home run. I walked away, went to go get food. I got back, tied game. Madison Bumgarner's back up the plate and hits a second home run. I'm like, what just happened? What did I just miss? Ah, man, I missed so much.
Well, we talked about Madison Bumgarner and how incredible he was on opening day, but we're tired here. Who would you say are players of the week thus far?
Are we starting with National League or American League?
Whichever one you want.
Okay, we'll start with the American League because Carlos Carrera, one of my favorite shortstops in the game.
Honestly, he's one of the most promising shortstops we've seen.
Honestly, him, Jose Altuve. I just love the Astros in general. Honestly, I just love. They are a hard team to hate.
They are a good team.
And the fact that the Astros are usually historically bad also helps me like them. But Carrera with 11 hits, 282 average, going through this past week. So I mean, he had a huge home run.
That is true.
At some point, I forgot against who. But he had a huge home run on defense. He's always great on defense.
He's one of those players that's good on both sides of the ball, which is something
I'm a person who values that a lot. I like people who are good. I'm just like, why is nobody playing defense?
It's one thing to be really good at defense. It's another thing to be really good at the plate. But when you were able to post the 300 average and then go out and win the Gold Glove, that's also you want a guy who can compete for the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove. That's a valuable player.
There's a huge difference between Andrelton Simmons, who is a tremendous fielder, but his bat's not so good, and
I think a perfect example of that would be Brandon Phillips.
Brandon Phillips
is a good hitter, but when you think of Brandon Phillips, you don't think of his bat because he's not the most consistent hitter. He can come up clutch at times, but when you think of Brandon Phillips, what sets him apart from everyone else is his outstanding defense.
Yeah, and Simmons on the Braves.
Well, you have one of them.
I know.
I had one of them.
I'm okay with Dansby. It's fine. Dansby's good.
Dansby's good.
I was thinking about doing a home pick put Ender Inciarte in for the National League guy just because he hit 2 home runs last night. But the Braves
don't deserve that.
I mean,
They don't deserve that recognition.
hey,
I'm sorry.
someone's got to recognize him.
Yeah, and that someone is you.
What's your guy?
All right, for the American League, I went with Francisco Lindor, another promising young shortstop.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because
we're all about the shortstops.
He's posted over up to this point a .333 average,
That's good.
4 home runs,
I've heard that's good.
which is second in the league, or tied for second in the American League. He's got 8 RBIs,
I've heard that is good.
and to this point, he's got a 1.250 on-base plus slugging percentage.
I've been told at some point that is a good thing.
That's incredible. So Francisco Lindor has been crushing the ball, hitting the ball very well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with
Shortstops.
Francisco Lindor.
Shortstops. It's all
The
about
captain of
shortstops.
the infield.
For National League, I actually put a catcher, which I was not
Really?
expecting myself to put
Either.
Catcher for the Miami Marlins, too. JT
JT Realmuto.
Realmuto.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you have trouble with
Gotta
names.
give me a second. 414 average, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. So he's close to Lindor's stats, but he's a catcher.
Similar.
He's a solid catcher. When the Marlins were playing the Braves, he made some clutch plays at the plate.
Realmuto's definitely a guy that gets overlooked a lot, but I think he's definitely got a lot of talent.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's my pick. Chose with catcher. What did you choose?
I went for the outfield
Oh my gosh.
on this pick, but I went with Marcell Ozuna.
Oh yeah, he did good too, didn't
Marcell Ozuna has a .400 batting average to this point in the season. League in RBIs with 12.
Dang.
And his on-base plus slugging percentage, 1.41.
He absolutely killed the Braves. He
Yeah.
had 2 home runs.
So Marcell Ozuna, that's another guy that I think gets overlooked a lot too. He's got a lot of talent. I don't think he's like going to be like the next Jose Bautista or someone or Giancarlo Stanton or anything. But
Are you sure?
the Marlins have a very good outfield.
I know they do. The Marlins in general have a pretty solid team
Yeah.
this year.
I mean, I would say the
Mar-
Marlins outfield is probably one of the best in the league because that's Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich, and Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh yeah. Their infield's not too shabby either. I mean, they're not as good
I
as
mean,
their
they got Realmuto as catcher. That's pretty good. Wei
their-
Chen solidifies that starting rotation.
I mean, their pitching's okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's honestly their
serviceable.
weak part.
I think could be in the wild card race, which
That's
is
definitely
which is
doable.
good. Since a couple years ago, they were dead last in the division. So
Honestly, that's an understatement. If there were a way to be like soccer, they would have been down. They would have been
they'd be
gone.
in double A right now.
Honestly, I could see them possibly being in freaking high A.
Oh man, Stanton playing in high A baseball.
Oh God, that would be awful.
Literally 4 for 4 with 4 home runs every night.
He would be breaking records left and right.
It would just not be fair.
No, it would not.
They would have to force.
Honestly,
to
to be
him.
fair, Stanton in the pros isn't fair either.
I mean, he's just not fair overall. He also hit 2 home runs off my Braves.
I'm sensing a theme.
Everyone hits 2 home runs off of it. The game the other night was intense. It wouldn't. No, Ender Inciarte hit a home run to make it 5. We're on television, so I can't say what I felt, but
We all know.
we know.
We know.
We're a week into the season.
Yes.
We have division leaders.
Yes.
We also have, but are these leaders legit or are they flukes? We're going to find out. We're going to talk
All right.
about it now. First one, we're coming from the AL East with the Baltimore Orioles. Is this legit or a fluke?
The Orioles are a fluke thus far.
Really?
Because you look at the American League East, and that's the same division with the Red Sox
Yes.
and the Yankees, the Blue Jays.
These are facts.
And all 3 of those teams are very good. The Orioles as at closer, so if they do have a lead,
He's pretty solid.
if they have a lead
They
going
got
into
Mark
the end of the
Trumbo,
game,
one of the best power hitters.
They
got
have Mark
Chris
Trumbo
Davis.
and they have Chris.
That's like the best.
I mean, yeah, they have Matt Wieters at catcher, but
Machado.
Wieters is kind of washed up at this point.
They got
okay,
Machado.
I forgot about Machado, yeah. And Adam Jones, but they're spotty though.
What do you mean by spotty?
They have really good spots, but they have really bad spots.
I mean, you can
They're
say that about a lot
they're
of
not
teams.
really all that consistent all the way across the board. And honestly, it's just a week into the season. Baltimore at 5-2 thus far, I don't think they've shown enough to say, yeah, this team is legit. They're going to win it.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen many teams that done that because we're only 7 games into the
And that's
season.
the thing. No, because the Blue Jays are like 1-7 thus far.
Yeah.
That's a fluke start for them. Because if you look at their
They're
pitching
doing
rotation,
pretty-
I know Jose Bautista is getting towards the end of his career, but he's still really good. Same for Troy Tulowitzki. They have Josh Donaldson, who's one of. They're a good team. They got off to a slow start, but I think they'll pick it up and overtake the Orioles at some point. I look for the Red Sox to overtake the Orioles at some point just because they have better pitching and a better lineup overall. They're more consistent across the board. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if the Yankees overtake them too, just because the Yankees have a lot of young talent.
I got you. Well, here's what I got to say. They won't win the division, but I do think they'll make playoffs.
Really? You think you see them as a wild card?
Well, they won wild card last year.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
I
true.
don't see why.
The Sox got better. The Yankees have gotten better. And the Blue Jays, well, they're about the same as they were last
year. Blue Jays' rough start's going to bite them. But
maybe.
I feel like Baltimore has a solid lineup. That's like a death row of hitters because any of those three guys can hit a home run off of you.
That is very true.
Very easily.
Very true.
So their offense is already in good favors with me. Their pitching, it's okay.
See, that's their weak point for me.
Chris Tillman's an okay guy. He's always been okay. But, they have a chance. Boston's playing really good baseball, obviously.
Yes.
The Yankees are going to do better than last year. The Tampa Bay Rays are the Tampa Bay Rays.
They exist.
They are here.
They're slightly better at baseball than their stadium is.
They're here to stay, I guess. But
remove the trop.
I feel like the Orioles have a good shot. I feel like they won't like just get bogged down. I feel like.
I could see them at third.
I feel second. Because I don't think the Yankees are quite there yet.
I feel like
I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees are there yet, but I don't think they're quite there yet.
The highest I could put them would be at third behind Boston and Toronto.
I don't know, man. Toronto.
They've gotten out to a slow start, but I think they'll pick it up.
Josh Donaldson needs to start doing something.
Well, let's move on to the Central now,
Ooh.
where the Tigers currently lead somehow at 6-3. Are they real? Are they legit, or are they a fluke?
So when I look up the stats for the Tigers, I know it's a week into the season.
Right.
Calm down. Their hitting has been abysmal.
Really?
Like 250.
Oh, that's awful.
Which is insane when we're in week of the season.
Then how do they have 6 wins?
I don't know. Their pitching's pretty great. Verlander, Jordan Zimmer, Kinsler's the only good hitter I found. Even Cabrera is doing bad.
Cabrera's off to a slow start?
He's off to a very slow start. He's got like a 108 average right now.
Oh, they need
So
him
the fact that they're doing good right now shocks me. The fact that they're doing good actually makes me believe that they could win this division. Because there's no way there's no way Cabrera is going to stay at a 108 average.
Oh, no, of course not.
There's no way on earth.
He's one of the best hitters in the league.
He's one of the best hitters of all time.
True. I mean, he posted a triple crown.
So, I mean, I just don't see their hitting being bad throughout the whole season. So they're going to. So unless the Indians get their, because as we said the last show, I think the Indians and the Tigers are the only team in this division that can.
Unless the Royals somehow find a hot groove at some point.
So the Indians need to get their stuff together, but until then, Detroit's probably going to take this division away.
I would say fluke for the Tigers, just because I don't know how you can win the division if your hitting's that bad. Now, if they pick up their hitting,
yeah, I'm going the anti-jinx route.
Yeah, see, if
they're doing bad now.
If they pick up their hitting, then I can see them being legit. But there's no way they'll continue to win like this if their hitting doesn't pick up enough.
No way.
So that's like I'm glad you brought that up because it's just if they can't hit better than that, this record is about to do a complete 180.
And also another thing that I know, Verlander and Zimmerman is actually not that good. The other pitchers have like a above 3 ERA.
Oh wow!
So that division is just bad right now.
What is going on with the American League Central?
Because the Detroit Tigers are not playing good baseball, but they are winning. So,
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how you win; it's just that you win.
I mean, yeah.
But all right.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the West. The Angels.
And the Astros.
Yeah, they're technically tied.
They're technically tied now.
But you have the Angels down here, so we're going to talk about the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to probably talk about the Astros.
Let's talk about both.
We're going to talk about both.
Yeah.
Because they're the. What's your opinion on the Angels?
They're legit.
Okay.
The Astros are legit for the reasons we've already talked about. With they got all these really good young players, and they've got some station.
Oh, yeah.
And his beard is incredible.
Fantastic.
I'm jealous of that beard.
Fantastic. I'm attempting.
That beard is
Very
better.
poorly.
That beard is better than the Tampa Bay Rays organization.
Wow. Shots fired.
It's better than Tropicana Field.
Mm.
But I say the Angels are a fluke. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing really all that impressive. Like we said earlier, they've got Mike Trout, and Andrelton Simmons, but really, who else do they have?
They got Kroll. Kroll's been hitting meh.
Eh.
Pujols has been hitting awful.
Oh yeah, I forgot Pujols was still in the league.
Everyone does. But
He kind of fell off the face of
but
the earth when he left St.
overall,
Louis.
the Angels can't really name the players right now. But I looked at their averages, and their averages are pretty good so far.
Mm.
They're pitching. Oh gosh,
It's bad.
1 below 5.
Mm.
A 5 ERA.
And that's where they're going to get beat.
Pitching's abysmal.
That's where they're going to get beat.
But like I said earlier, they have the comeback kids thing going on right now, coming back and late. So their bullpen's pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously, because they can hold teams down. But their starting pitching is bad. Matt Shoemaker.
That might come back to bite him in the butt.
Matt Shoemaker, who's usually a pretty good pitcher,
Yeah.
he's just not having a good time so far this year in his 2 starts. But yeah.
Well, like Francisco Liriano with the Blue Jays, his ERA is over 100 right now. After 1/3 of an inning,
I think that's good.
his ERA is 130 something.
I think he'll have,
He gave up 5 runs in the 1/3 of an inning.
I think he can bring that down.
I hope so.
Then, of course, as we said, Houston.
This is Houston's division to lose.
Altuve,
honestly.
Correa,
Keuchel.
So,
George
yeah.
Springer leading the American League in home
Oh, yeah,
runs.
George Springer. How can I forget?
George
Oh,
freaking Springer.
I should have put George Springer as my player of the week.
His average isn't all that great, though.
Oh, man. George Springer.
It's like 2
Gonna put in a
something.
box.
Oh, okay. That's a nice box you got there.
All right, how about the best division in all of baseball, the NL East, with the New York Mets leading?
I say the Mets are legit because I picked them to win this division, if you saw our earlier shows.
Yeah.
They're 6-3, good start. They've got, still in my opinion, the best starting rotation of all of baseball, assuming they
course.
stay healthy.
Of course.
But they're healthy
already
at the
said
moment, so we're still going to say best
We're
rotation.
good. We're good.
Yoenis Cespedes is on fire. He hit 3 home runs in 1 game. The other doing well enough, about as well as you can expect from him.
Yeah.
He's kind of that power guy. You don't really expect him to hit for an average.
Mm-hmm.
But he's doing well. They're playing well. They're winning. Like I said, they got great starting pitching, and they're hitting the ball fantastically. So I'm going to say legit.
I'm going to say legit, too, but of course you have Miami and the Nationals
Yeah.
creeping behind them. And
Those teams are also legit.
The Nationals are always going to be there. I don't know about the Marlins might fall off. They might, depending on how they do. But the Nationals will always be there. It'll be just a tight race between the Mets and the Nationals, I feel like. The Nationals off to a slow start. They're starting to heat up, though. So any Mets-Nationals game is going to be a great game to watch.
Oh, those are going to be some fun series.
And then, as a Braves fan, I'll just sit there crying.
Hey, we're not the Phillies.
At least we're not the Phillies. We're getting there, but we're not.
Yeah.
Process.
Well, let's move it on. The National League Central,
Okay.
home of America's first professional baseball team, the Cincinnati Reds, who currently lead the National League Central with a 7-2 record. I know I mentioned them as my biggest surprise, but what's your take? Are they a fluke or
So
are they legit?
in case anybody wanted to know the behind the scenes here of my notes, like you want my notes, I put down "ha" with an exclamation point. There's no way they're going to keep this.
I
No
agree.
way on earth.
I agree.
Because the Cardinals are not going to be bad forever. The Cubs are definitely not going to be down
I
forever.
mean, the Cubs are only a game back.
Yeah, right now the Cubs would sweep them probably.
Either that, or I give Cincinnati maybe 1 win depending on the pitching matchup.
But the Cubs will win the series.
Oh yeah.
Easy. I just put "ha." I
Yeah.
just don't. I want to say they're a fluke, but they're not going to go. They're not going to do anything.
I'm going to say it's fluke just because of how young they are. Now, like I said, they've got a lot of really good young talent on this team. But I still think they are a few years, they're about 2 or so years away from truly competing for this division.
Yeah.
So they're so young and inexperienced, I don't see them keeping it up. Now, for the next week or so, I could see them keeping it up just because they're very hot right now. They're going to ride that momentum. But eventually it's going to falter as it does throughout the baseball season because you have those ups and downs. And I don't know how quickly I don't think they're going to be able to quickly turn it around when they get down, just because they haven't had that experience.
Lack of experience.
And Zach Cozart, because they got the experience, they can turn it around. But the young guys, like a Scott Schebler or an Eugenio Suarez,
jeez, that name.
Or
good gosh.
I don't know if they'll be able to, or an Amir Garrett or a Ricky Davis. I don't know if they'll be able to flip the switch and get out of a slump as easily as some of these other guys.
Yeah, and the lack of experience is definitely
right.
Because once you get on a losing streak, it's hard to get out of it with younger players.
Especially if some of these guys hit slumps themselves.
And their dreams are just crushed.
Now,
right before your eyes.
give them 2 years. And 1 or 2 years, this is a team that if they really be a force, because they'll be still young, but more experienced and better. So this is a team that I look, assuming they develop.
Nice, but we're heading out west now. We're going to the NL West.
Ooh, yes.
Who do you get? Arizona Diamondbacks are leading the NL West. How do you feel about it?
They're obviously a fluke, just like those uniforms.
Wow, oh my gosh.
Those uniforms are atrocious. Have you seen
them? We're attacking uniforms now?
Have you seen their uniforms?
Do you have no respect for yourself?
No, but I also have no chill. Have you seen those uniforms? They are awful.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but let's not attack the poor team's uniforms.
The gradient on the hat is kind of cool. I'll give them that. All right, the gradient on the hat works. It's kind of interesting. We're
not talking about uniforms.
But the gradient on the sleeves is just, what are you doing? It looks like somebody bled through them and didn't wash them off before the game.
Well, that's disgusting.
It's what, and those roads are just, ugh.
Why are they fluke?
They have Paul Goldschmidt and nobody else.
Hey, don't. What about Shelby?
What
about Zach Greinke?
Your ace starter is Zach Greinke. That's enough of a problem right there. Zach Greinke is overpaid and overrated.
He had 1 bad season, and you're going to call him overrated?
He had 1 good season.
Yeah, and that's how he got his money.
Exactly. He doesn't deserve, what is it, $8 million or whatever he's getting?
Zach Greinke's actually been pitching pretty good lately, this year.
Lately, again, it's like the Reds. He's not going to keep it up.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Zach Greinke's not
he's
terrible.
He's not that good.
He's not terrible.
He's not terrible, but he's not great either. He's the epitome of mediocre.
He's also a pitcher who can rake. Hashtag.
Hitting every 5 days isn't going to help I say they're a fluke just because the Dodgers, they might have gotten off to a slow start, but they are all around a much better team. I'll look for the Giants to overtake them at some point too, honestly. Just Arizona, they ite, but they ain't good.
I put down exclamation point again, because it's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's funny that they're winning right now.
Oh, honestly, I want them to keep it up. I just don't think it will.
No, they most definitely won't. The San Francisco Baseball Giants and the Los Angeles Trolley Dodgers. I had to bring it out. I had to bring out the weird names. Those teams are definitely not going to let them win.
No.
If the Diamondbacks somehow win this division, I will laugh profusely. Profusely. I'll not be able to stop myself.
If the Diamondbacks win the division, I'm going to celebrate.
Because that means the Giants didn't win?
Because that means the Giants or Dodgers
and then the Dodgers.
Honestly, in that case, I don't think either of them will make the wild card. Because you got to think, the wild card race actually is going to be very interesting.
Definitely. And naturally, yeah.
Because I mean, you've got 2 teams.
Wild card is always interesting.
It would surprise me if the 2 wild card teams both came from the East. You can never discount the Cardinals. And if the Reds are somehow able to keep this up, they might somehow slip into that wild card race. But that's bold, so we're not going to go there yet. But I mean, it's possible with the way they are right now.
Maybe we'll go there on the next show.
Maybe not.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the rundown. We are done with another fantastic baseball-filled episode. Go out and watch some baseball, then come watch us
as we give you the rundown.
Oh, that was smooth. Thank you for watching.
Ooh, I am smooth.